video is going to cover some size 0 mailers that we've ordered here as an example. Two of these were ordered off of Amazon. The first is from the Boxery here, and the second is from Value Mailers and from Royal Mailers. We ordered this directly from them, but they also sell on Amazon. Alright, so let's go over. These are all size 0, so let's just start off with the external dimensions. So if I line these all up together and compare them, the Value Mailers and the Royal Mailers about the exact same length. The length of the tabs, the length at the top. When we compare that against the Boxery, we're short about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch in length. And it also applies to the actual padding inside too. Alright, so let's compare these width-wise. You can see that the Boxery is smaller than the Value Mailers. And let's compare the Value Mailers to the Royal Mailers, and they are identical. So, in general, I would say that the Value Mailers and the Royal Mailers very similar in dimensions. Alright, let's look at some other factors here. Let's look at the external, outside of these units. And this is somewhat subjective. This unit here, the Boxery, this mailer is very slick, extremely slick. Now, this may actually aid in the adhesion of 4x6 type labels or not. I have no idea, but I can tell you it's very slick, almost too slick. The Royal Mailers has less slickness to it. It doesn't seem to want to fall out of your hands. It has some grip to it, and there's some texture on it. The Value Mailers is probably somewhere in between the Royal Mailer and the Boxery. The Value Mailers, slicker, but it seems to not be as slick, and there is a little bit more texture. Okay, let's talk about what makes these bubble wrap mailers. The bubbles. So, let's look at the actual bubbles. So there's the bubbles inside. You can see it's fully lined in here. And so, let's just try to pop some of these. So it's a little bit hard to push these down. So I'm able to pop them. I would say I'm able to pop every 5th one. I'm just isolating a single bubble, trying to push on it and see if it pops. So Value Mailers, maybe 1 out of 5 pops. Alright, I'm going to push on the Royal Mailers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I would say it's also 1 out of 5. And on the Boxery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are already popped actually. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would consider it almost every single one of these from the Boxery pops. Not exactly the highest quality. I mean, these things are just popping without any effort. I mean, I bet if I just push this, you can hear them popping. Let's try that with the Royal Mailer. Let's see how. Nothing. Let's try it with the Value Mailer. I'm not hearing any pop. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, the closures. Now, they all have different little peel-off closures. The Value Mailer is the one over here with the silver one. Then we have these two, which look similar. The Boxery does have this little thing on the end, but I'm not quite sure what that is because you can't pull it open. So I'm not sure what value that extra length has. It probably is disadvantage, if anything. So let's go ahead and pull off the protective adhesive layer. Push it down. Now some of these can be pulled apart even after they've been pushed down. And you can see here the Boxery one does come apart. Now it is common for some of these adhesives, it takes about 10 minutes for them to set up. I know we've had that issue in the past with the Royal Mailers where they don't stick immediately. You can see this one's pulling off. I can't say exactly how long that's going to stick, but if you need to shove something back in that mail envelope, you probably could. Alright, so let's do the Royal Mailers here. Push it down and pull it back off. And you can see that it also pulls off also. And I do know from experience that the Royal Mailer one will adhere over time, and then if you pull it off, the plastic will come off. And next here we have the Value Mailers. We're going to go ahead and push this down and pull it off. and we can see it's pretty well coming off. It's tearing the plastic there a bit. I would say it's probably definitely the best one. You can see at least at one spot it's torn the plastic off. Now, I will say that the unit from Value Mailers has one unique thing, and this may or may not be a positive. So right here on this envelope, there's a pull tab that allows your customers to open up the item. So we're going to go ahead and pull it, and you can see that it just pulls right off. So this is not the first time this has happened. We did it with several envelopes. Maybe that allows people to get in here, but you can see that it effectively makes no difference. I mean, there is kind of this indentation in here, but I wouldn't consider the pull tab reliable, and it might even kind of make your customers pissed off because they think they should pull it, but then it doesn't work. So, I don't really want to pass judgment here, but there is some sort of order to this. Clearly, the Boxery label, Boxery padded mailers, not the best. Smaller, the bubbles just pop with the slightest provocation. Well, it does seem like the adhesive is now working. So they're slick, they fall out of your hand. I wouldn't recommend the Boxery ones. Next we have, let's say, the Royal Mailers. We can see that the glue is now set up here on the Royal Mailers, so I would say that one's a win too now. I would say it's a good, solid unit. There's nothing really wrong with it. It doesn't have the pull tab, but I don't know, if the pull tab doesn't work, is it really a feature? We've used these, never had problems with them. The plastic is very strong, unlike the Boxery, which is just made from this thinnest of plastic. It's probably a tie between Value Mailers and Royal Mailers. The plastic on this Value Mailers seems a little thinner. This just has a thicker piece of plastic. The outside envelope is made stronger. So if I had my personal choice, I'll say Royal Mailers is probably the superior one here over Value Mailers, but I think they're very similar, if not equal.